PFF put out their roster rankings, and our Browns are dead last. And my first reaction was, oh, how the turntables, because it seems like not that long ago it was before every season it was this roster on paper is a top 5 roster. If they go out and live up to their potential, this is one of the best rosters in football. And it seems like after a couple years of being a roster potential team and then not living up to it on the field, we've been knocked down a peg.
Good. Put us at the bottom because there's only one way to go.
Yeah. So how do you guys feel about that? I know like I saw we made a Facebook social media post about it, and a lot of people are like, no way, no way, no way. And I know my thoughts, but I'm curious, what are your guys' thoughts?
Well, my thought initially was, I don't think they're the 32nd worst team. I can point to some other teams, at least on paper, whose rosters I'd much rather have ours. Like, I'd rather have ours over the Titans minus the quarterback position. I'd rather have ours. They were saying how, like, the Browns are at 32 because of the weak, arguably the worst wide receiver core, a weak offensive line, and all this kind of stuff. And I'm thinking, well, the Steelers' wide receiver core is really one guy, and we're hoping we at least have 2. But at least we've got, like, Njoku and some other pieces, and I think our running backs are way better, or at least project to be. So, I don't know. I definitely wouldn't put us top 10 or anything, but 32 is I don't know. I don't think so.
I mean, we're down there. Okay. let's not kid ourselves. We're definitely we can be in that conversation, you know. Yeah, it's crazy how like you can have a really decent roster for a long time, but then you don't take any first round talent for 3 years and like
get older
and don't really plug those holes up. I mean, I get it. It makes sense. I'm kind of with you. I don't think we're dead last, especially if the argument was, well, the wide receiver room. I can think just Tennessee. And I'm like, so Calvin Ridley and really, really old Tyler Lockett are better than what we've got going on. I do think that going into the draft, if you were like, hey, we have the worst roster, I'd be like, probably right. Yeah, we got some holes. We got a lot of holes, actually. But, I mean, I think we had a pretty decent draft. At least, you know, we have to see where it goes from there. But I'm very okay. Like, you won't see me outside protesting that we're at the bottom.
We're one of the worst.
Yeah, it's fair.
For sure. And I could make the argument, like if I had more time, you know, if they would have released this like yesterday and I could have sat down and looked at some things. But we have holes, or at least at the best case scenario,
concerns.
Big time question marks
Concerns, yeah.
at what I would say is almost every offensive position except for 2. Because here's my thing is I'm putting virtually zero stock into rookies. Okay. Because we haven't seen them do anything except for run around in shorts in some voluntary mini camps. So like we think Sampson and Judkins are going to be very good, very dynamic, help revitalize this run game, but we don't know. We thought Trent Richardson was going to be that. And look what that turned into. So I'm not putting much stock into the rookies. And then our offensive line, especially if this is based off what we saw coming from last year to this year, our offensive line was awful last year. Now we're all hoping that the scheme change and getting back to what they do best is gonna help. But you could make the argument we have questions at left tackle, center, even Wyatt Teller, right guard struggled last year. If Conklin can stay healthy, right now we don't know who's going to play quarterback, and unless one of these rookies really pops, you can make the argument that no matter who we pick isn't that great right now, at least that we know of. We have one, we hope, wide receiver in Jerry Jeudy. We don't know what we have in Cedric Tillman for real. We don't know what we have in Jamari Thrash, other than he wasn't very good last year. We have a tight end, and we have Jerry Jeudy on offense. Those are about the only 2 positions where I'm going into this season going, okay, I feel very confident that I've seen them perform at the pro level. Now, I feel good about Judkins and Sampson and Fan and stuff like that, but I just can't put much stock. If I'm ranking rosters, I'm not going to put much stock into rookies who haven't ever stepped foot onto an NFL field. And then if we go to the other side of the ball, defensive line, we lost Sheldon Richardson.
Dalvin Tomlinson.
Dalvin Tomlinson. Yeah, my bad.
Same guy.
Yeah, they're all big linemen. But we replaced him with a rookie who we hope is good, but we don't know. So we have Miles, and we have Delpit at safety, and we got Denzel at corner, and we think Emerson and Newsome can be pretty good, but then outside of that, on the defensive side of the ball, it's, you know what I mean, like we have some okay pieces that we hope are going to be good. Mm-hmm. So if you don't want to put us last, there's some teams I'll listen to, be like, okay, maybe they're worse. We're definitely bottom 5 as it stands today.
Okay. Yeah,
like zero doubt in my mind.
So what's that say about, Andrew Berry, or at least we assume he's got the job security based on Jimmy's comments, from March or the owners' meetings and stuff. I mean, he's had, 5? This is his 6th year now running the team, and we've got the 32nd ranked roster.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. It wouldn't have been 32nd ranked last year.
No, last year, weren't we pretty high last year?
You know what I mean? It's one of those things where there's cycles, and honestly, a month into the regular season, this could be looked at way differently. If these rookies hit,
right,
all of a sudden you're going, man, they got 2 stud running backs, they got a stud backup tight end, they got
as long as one of the quarterbacks hits, that would do it. That would do the world.
They're winning games.
They have a defensive rookie of the year candidate in their new middle linebacker or in Schweschinger. Like, if we hit on these picks like we think we did, this will skyrocket. But until we see the rookies perform on the field in NFL action, you just can't put much stock into what they're going to bring to the team until you see them do it.
That's fair. And we got to see if the line can get back to, they're saying all the right things, like, hey, we're getting back to the scheme that fits us the best. We're going to be attacking. We're going to be physical. We'll see if they get back to the performance that they were 2-3 years ago. Yeah. Because last year, everybody sucked. Yeah. So last year's a really tough evaluation. I see a lot of people say, our offensive line is terrible. They did not play well last year, but nobody did. It's really hard to just pin everything on these players from what they showed last year. So we'll see. I do have more faith in the line than some people, but that's if we can get back to that offense.
Awesome. What do you guys think?
What a transition. Awesome.
Truth says he thinks our roster's around 23. I don't know if I can. That put us.
Oh, here, you guys just want to play the game?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why not? So
let's go.
So 31 Titans. Are we better than the Titans? Our overall roster.
Yeah.
Again, if we're not putting stock into the quarterbacks, Cam Ward, or the rookies, Cam Ward's a rookie.
Yeah.
Okay. I take us over Tennessee.
Okay. All right. So we go up to 30, and it is the Saints.
I would say most likely.
Did we lose to them last year?
Yes, we did.
So they're better than us. I want to say we're better than them.
That was the Jog Thornhill game.
Yeah.
Jameis. Panthers.
That's tough because what Bryce Young are you getting? Are you getting
true.
rookie year Bryce Young? Or are you getting
second half of last year?
Yeah. Bryce Young. And I like Chuba Hubbard.
They got guys. They've been stashing guys on that team.
I agree.
Okay, so you're putting the Panthers ahead of us?
Yes.
Okay. Jets.
Oh man,
they got some pieces.
They got tons of all the pieces except for.
I think if there's a good chance that if you put Justin Fields on our team right now, you'd be the starter.
I'm excited to see what Justin Fields. As a Buckeyes fan, obviously,
yes, him and Garrett Wilson linked back up. Yeah. Honestly, Sauce Gardner. I'd probably put the Jets ahead of us.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll just go a couple more. Giants.
That's another one. They got Steelers reject quarterback and our old reject quarterback.
They got a generational wide receiver.
They do have that.
They've got a pretty dynamic running back room.
I think their defensive line is going to be pretty tough.
Very tough.
I'd probably take the Giants over ours as it stands today.
And then we'll just do then the Jaguars.
Not that long ago, they were pretty good, and then not that long ago, they were really shitty. So, how's Trevor going to play? I think that determines a lot of it.
Even though he's been a disappointment compared to what he's supposed to be, he'd still be the number one quarterback on our team.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. So, they're probably better than us in terms of
we beat them last year.
True.
For playing that.
If it's not raining, I don't know, man.
Yeah, I know.
I don't know.
If you're putting it on just paper rosters, they're probably better than us.
This kind of real quick, just a side conversation about the schedule and stuff. it's why it's hard if you guys look at schedule right now in May and June and say, oh, well, it's going to be tough for this game or that game, and you're looking in like October and November. Think about the freaking opening week last year. We played the Dallas Cowboys going into the season. That's going to be a tough opening game. That's a tough team. They beat the living shit out of us and turned out to be a bad team last year.
Yeah.
So everything's going to be different than what we anticipate. It speaks to the parity that we talk about all the time in the NFL. That's why it's such a great sport.
Yeah, I do think it's tough to pick wins and losses right now, like just for the reason you said, and there's so much turnover in the NFL. Like people are like, look at you guys were talking when you guys did the episode with Kenny about, if we're in like the 8 to 9 win, and people are like, you're never getting to 8 to 9 wins. And it's like, I agree. Right now, I don't think we sniff 8 wins, but who knows how many of these teams where a month after the season, all of a sudden we're going, oh, they're not what we thought they were going to be. They're not
exactly.
And there's also going to be a few of those teams that we thought, oh man, that's one that maybe we got a shot. You know what I mean? And all of a sudden, that's a tough game. And so,
look like the Eagles last year. They were like one of the best teams in the league by the end of the season. We damn near beat them.
One of the best teams. They won the Super Bowl.
Well, I guess by the end of the regular season, they were playing better than anybody. But when we played them, if we had a good quarterback, we'd have won the game.
If you go back and watch our episode post Eagles game, I think everybody here said this was two bad teams playing.
Yes, we did.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure I said, I don't know if the Eagles were going to win any more games or many more games this year.
We definitely said Coach was getting fired.
Coach, I said because my early season prediction was that Sirianni wouldn't make it through the season.
Yeah.
And it was looking like real good. People were calling for his head. And I was like, man,
I look good.
I was like, this looks good. I look like Nostradamus 3 years in a row with a hot take. And then I think they lost one more game the rest of the year.
And he's got a ring now, Super Bowl winning coach now.
Yeah, and
now he's a 2-time Super Bowl
appearance.
Yeah, and so it's great, like just like that. They figured it out. It's wild.
Yeah.
It's like they realized that Saquon's good. And they started running a lot of things through him and
through their number one rated offensive line.
Look at the Browns in 23. Like we had all those injuries. We should have lost every single game from like the halfway point on. We never should have won another game with that roster.
That was such a
and we ended up going on a run and making the playoffs. Like you just never know what teams are going to do that. Can the Browns strike magic? You just never know.
Strike magic again.
That's why it's such a fun. The NFL is so fun.
This is the ESPN FPI says the Browns have a 13% chance to get the number 1 overall pick.
Why so low?
Is that
why so low? Why is that percentage so low?
Yeah, I put it more like 60. Actually, if you count us and the fact that we have the Jaguars first pick, I'd say the Browns have a solid chance. We're sitting like 80% chance of getting that number 1 pick. We might sit at 1 and 2 depending on how the cookie crumbles this year.
We're very negative today.
Yeah. Listen, I've learned that no matter, I'm just going to not be optimistic ever again. Because anytime there's expectations with this team, we fall flat. And anytime I think, well, I guess let's just see what happens. Hopefully I'm still interested a month into the season.
It's been the roller coaster of Kevin Stefanski's tenure for sure. And we've done the podcast now the entire time he's been here. So since 2020, and it's been low expectations, great season, high expectations, bad year. And it's been up and down every year, and we fall for it every time. So this year should be pretty good.
Yeah, we should be great.
In theory.
Should make the playoffs.
Yeah, Super Bowl run. Here we come.
Let's go.
See, if you say it jokingly, that's when it's going to be a good season.
Yeah.
Cash your 401k and let's go. Where's the Super Bowl at this year?
I don't even know.
So let us know what you guys think about the roster. Somebody said 30. Andrew Jackson said 32's right on.
Damn right,
it's
bro.
not far off.
You're damn
it's
right,
not
brother.
far off.